So we briefly discussed see, plan and predict previously, but can you go into a bit more detail, I guess, starting with see? What does that entail?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the nice examples for us to talk about is how we have used a dashboarding BI tool to present business KPIs within a service industry. We actually like it so much we use it ourselves in our own business, and that gives us the ability to look at our core KPIs like utilisation of people's time, training. I think Chris, what would you say the benefits have been?
So, as a services practice, it's absolutely fundamental that we maximise the utilisation of our people.
Yep.
And that utilisation is, yes, in terms of chargeable, billable hours, but also in terms of ensuring that their training programmes are maintained, ensuring that they're meeting some of their other goals that we set for them within the business, over and above training and chargeability. And so this visualisation that we have and the dashboard effectively allows us to look at that top level by company, drill down into department and see that down to an individual level.
Okay.
And take corrective action wherever we feel that we're not performing necessarily as well as we are, or at least recognise where we're overperforming as well. And
so you're really seeing the health of the company as such, and you're really going down to the granular detail that comes within that.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
And moving from see onto plan, have you got some examples of that space?
Well, as someone who spent over 20 years as an accountant looking at how we can support the business budgeting, forecasting, tracking performance and all that monitoring, I've got lots of experience of doing that personally. Pre the tools we now have, so I know how difficult that can be, and a lot of businesses are using spreadsheets still. I know personally I used to create a lot of very complex, very big spreadsheets and all the risks that come with that. I wish I could go back in time and go again using the tools we now have today.
Okay.
You can see some real benefit from that.
And I guess going back to what we're saying is being able to see the health of it and knowing what's coming down the line allows you to plan accordingly and make sure resources are in the correct place.
Very much so. And the big benefit today, I think, is some of these organisations that were typically using swivel chair integration and using spreadsheets to move data around. This now can be accelerated and deployed through cloud-based technologies, and so that companies aren't shackled by trying to provision servers, trying to install and configure software. So the time to, dare I say, value is far, far quicker today.
Yeah, okay. And you're not required to have a big mainframe set in a corner. You can get going from day one.
Not at all. The appeal, or if you like, the affordability of these solutions now is such that small to medium-sized businesses can start to get involved and invest in these technologies.
So further to that, one of the real benefits I think that businesses need to see and get the benefit from is the ability to connect your different plans up, so be able to connect your financial planning to your operational planning and get everybody pulling in the same direction. It's an example that we did in a large retailer that delivered millions and millions of pounds of benefits in margin and destocking by getting these plans to connect.
Okay. So seeing, I guess, is where your resources currently are. Planning is what's coming up in the foreseeable future you have visibility of. But where does predict come in here?
Okay, well, again, talk about another example where we recently helped a large food manufacturing organisation that has currently a 1-day lead time from orders being received to finished product having to be fulfilled on that order.
Okay.
So this is from farm to fork.
Okay.
So effectively we took a few years of their data and were able to forecast that using some of the tools that we have access to by product give them daily order forecasts throughout the year, so building in seasonality and showing them the growth, and it also showed a few other opportunities through that work.
And I guess this prediction capability you're giving them then goes back around the loop, and it will allow them to see what they need and where based on the prediction of sales or so forth you've got coming with that.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, the thing to remember there is that this company is vertically integrated, and it allows them to actually grow the raw material almost just in time.
Okay. So Simon, we've spoken about the see, plan and predict. So it sounds like it's quite a continuous model and you don't just finish at one element, if you like. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you get ever more advanced with your analytics, you can feed the benefit from the latest piece you've just put in back into the prior stages that you may have had for years. For example, the predictive analytics. So once you've predicted your sales demand, you can feed that into a planning process, and then that planning process can be monitored. So the plans you can be tracked using your dashboarding tools and visualization.
Okay, and I guess the tools and the solutions you're offering work quite well if you are in procurement, sales, operations. But can you talk about some of the other areas that other stakeholders might have interest?
Yeah. Well, aside from finance with budgeting and forecasting, all those operational plans can be applied to pretty much any department within your business, really. You could apply that to HR planning.
Yeah.
You could apply that straight into a production planning process, or if it's logistics, looking at asset utilisation on your vehicles. For example, a recent piece of work we did again in food industry was looking at the high readings of Campylobacter, so chicken bacteria.
Okay.
So on that particular example, we went through the business process, breaking that into pieces and looking at high causation factors at each stage, which gave that business something very actionable to look at, and it engaged it across production, logistics, back to the farms.
Okay.
And oversaw all that with the food technical input as well.
So I guess being able to look at the whole supply chain, and therefore if there's an area that you feel needs improvement, you can see where that chain fits in and kind of where it fits in with the bigger picture.
Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah.
So we've spoken about your analytics solution and journey, I guess, and giving the customers the ability to both see, plan and predict. And in particular interest for me is the fact that you don't just end at predict, it goes back round in a loop and continuous improvement. So thank you for coming in, thank you for sharing that with us, and it's been a really interesting conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.